Now we will discuss about pulleys and springs, right? So how the reactions are occurring on this pulleys and springs. Let me consider you have a spring like this. So you can able to see that you have a spring here. So the spring is for having a force F, right? When you apply a force on the spring, what happens? Your spring will stretch, right? Usually, initially it is at some distance L. Now it is at different distance, right? For example, if this is around L, so you have another deflection here. If I consider this as X, okay? So this we call it as stretched length, right? Your stretched length is it is nothing but L plus X, right? So total distance. So once it is stretched, right? The the force, so without applying any force, so whatever the spring is, that we call it as unstretched length, right? This one is unstretched, right? Without any stretching, right? What will be the length, right? That is unstretched length. Okay. So once you apply a force, what happens? It is stretched and it gives some deformation, right? So any spring has a category. It can be identified by using a term called as stiffness, right? So whatever you spring you buy, it is always depends on the stiffness of a particular spring. If the stiffness is more, it means very harder to press, right? So whatever you can able to see in trains, whatever below, whatever the springs you can able to see, will have high stiffness. So whatever you can able to see in pens, right? Even in your pen you have springs, right? That spring will have very low stiffness. Okay, so whenever the stiffness is more, it means that it requires lots of force to stretch, right? So there is a formula related to this. Your stiffness K is always equal to force divided by deflection of your spring. Okay, where deflection del is equal to stretched length minus unstretched length. So if I consider stretched length as L plus X and unstretched length as L, so your deflection is X, right? This is your deflection. Okay, so your force is always equal to stiffness into deflection. That is what I am indicating here. So stiffness is force by deflection, right? So this is how you can identify the force in a member, or you can identify what is the stretched length or unstretched length or deflection of any matters. It depends on the problem, right? So this is the formula where you have to identify for a spring. So spring is equal to, so for stiffness of the spring is equal to force divided by deflection, right, or deformation, right? Where deformation is stretched length minus unstretched length. Okay, so this is another one. So the next one, so you can able to see the unit of the stiffness is Newton per meter. Okay, the next one is pulley. So you can able to see these types of pulleys in wells, right? Whatever it is. So what happens if I pull the rope, right? When I pull the rope, what happens? The force required will always be equal, right? So for example, if this is my pulley, it is passing through the rope is passing through this pulley. So whatever the force I apply here, T, will be equal to the force applied here, right? Provided this is frictionless pulley. This is frictionless pulley, right? When I say it is frictionless, it means that when I apply a force on the rope is sliding on the pulley, right? Your rope is sliding on the pulley. It means that your rope will not rotate, right? If it rotates, it means that there is a friction, right? So there is no rotation. There is no rotation on your pulley, right? That one we call it as a frictionless pulley. So practically speaking, it is not possible. So you don't have any frictionless pulley in any of your applications, right? So mostly you will have some friction, at least a little bit of friction, which will make your pulley to rotate, right? So, but we assume that it is a frictionless pulley, right? It is only for this particular unit. So when you go for last unit, maybe considering pulleys, friction pulleys. So in that case, your T will be varying, right? So for now, let us consider that whatever which is passes over the pulley, your tension is same, right? Your tensile force, whatever the force you apply here, that is also equal to the other force, right? So that is for pulley. So these are the new terms. So whenever you have a spring, you have to use this formula, right? So related to what is your spring, stiffness of the spring. Whenever you have a pulley, you identify so where your rope is passing through the pulley or not. If it is passing through the pulley, then the tension, whatever the tension on one side, will be equal to the tension on the other side. You can put directly, right? Any doubt in this? Let me consider here. So there are sets of problems. So let us solve a problem related to rope and pulley, right? So you have a set of problem here, right? You have a 600 Newton crate. So the crate here is 600 Newton. Okay. So it is attached to different types of pulleys. So one is only one pulley. The second one is having two pulleys. Third one is having two pulleys, which is arranged in a different way. Fourth one, three pulleys in a different way. And fifth one also three pulleys with a different way, right? You can able to see the difference, right? So now my question is, what will be the tensile force to lift this particular 600 Newton load, right? So you can able to see that tension is applied here. So you are attaching another cable with respect to this one, right? So let us identify one by one. So let me consider figure A and B, right? Why I am considering A and B? Because similar figure, right? So I know that whenever a rope is passing through the pulley, the tensile force, whatever it is, that is equal to the other side, which means if I consider B, so this is passing through this. So if this is T, this is also T, this is also T, right? So this is, I have made this arrow considering this pulley as a free body diagram, right? If I want this as a free body diagram, your arrow will be like this. Your arrow will be in opposite direction, right? Okay. So since this is T, so this is also similar to this. So you can able to see that this part and this part is similar now, right? So I consider this figure. So this is my pulley. Weight is acting downward, which is 600, and you have two ropes now, right? Two ropes now. One, it is acting like this. This is also T. Another is also acting like this. This is also T. So now let us equate. So you can say that sigma Fy is equal to 0, which means that 2T is equal to 600. So what is the value of T? It is 300 Newton. So if you apply half of the load, you can lift your 600 Newton crate. Now let us go for the next one. Figure C and D. Okay. So why I go for figure C? So let me go for figure C first. So this is a tension force. It is passing through this. So this will also be T. And this is passing through this. So this will also be T. Right? So in that case, what will be my formula? How I have to write the free body diagram here? So you will draw a circle, right? One force is acting downwards, which is 600 Newton. Other are acting in three forces is acting upward. We assume that it is straight. Let us assume that it is straight. Actually, it is inclined. So they are not given any value. So let us consider that it is straight. If it is inclined, then I have to use cos theta sin theta to identify. Right? So let me assume that it is straight. In that case, so there are three forces acting upward. one force is acting downward, which means 3T is equal to 600. It's nothing but 3T is equal to 600, which means T is 200. This is also applicable for this. How it is applicable for this? So this is my tension. It is moving like this. So this is also T. It is connected to this pulley. This is also T. This is also connected to this pulley. This is also T. So 3T. So 3T is equal to 600. Same. Right? What about E? Let us go for E. So if I go for E, right? So I can able to see that this is my tension. It moves like this. This tension T. It is moving like this. It's also another tension. It is also moving like this. So this is also another tension. Right? So when you write it, so it is like this. These two pulleys are connected together. So when I draw, I can't draw this separately as a free body diagram. Right? You have to consider this entire step as a single free body diagram. So in that case, you have 1, 2, 3, 4 forces. Right? One is 600 acting downward and 4 tensile forces acting upward. So 4T is equal to 600, which means T is equal to 150. So this is a simple example of knowing how to locate this tensile forces, right, in a pulley, right? Okay, let us consider another problem like this, right? So they're asking you to calculate the tensile force, tensile T in the rope shown in figure. So you should also identify what is the reaction developed at point P, right? It's a combination of previous topic and this topic, right? So they have mentioned there is no friction, without any friction. Your pulleys are without any friction. In that case, you have to identify that. Okay, right. So how many free body diagrams will you draw for this?
3, sir.
Yeah, very good. So you have to draw 3 free body diagrams, right? First, for pulley A. For pulley A, you have to draw a free body diagram, which means you have a circle which is having 1000 Newton acting downward, and it is connected to 2 force. So this one force, another this force, right? So I don't know what is this force. If I consider this as T, the others will also be T, right? This is my first free body diagram. From this, I can able to identify what is my T value, right? We know that sigma Fy is equal to 0. 2T is equal to 1000, which means T is equal to 500 Newton, right? So where is this? So this is 500 Newton. So this force is 500 Newton. Now I'll go for pulley B. So this pulley. So again, you have a circle, you have a force here. What is this force? This is nothing but 500 Newton, which we identified. Now it is connected to 2 T's. Right? So don't get confused. This T is different, this T is different. This for this particular diagram. Okay. So again I can equate it. I can equate 2T is equal to 500 and I will get T is equal to 250 Newton. Right? So that T is this. So this T is 250 Newton. Right? Now I will draw a free body diagram for C. Right? For C, this is my force, which is 250 Newton. The angle is given, which is 30 degree. And now you can able to see that you have your reactions also. At the center, you have a reaction. So what type of joint? It's a pin joint. When you have a pin joint, you will have Px and Py, two reaction force. Right? So these are my forces. Right? Now I can equate it. So what I can do, I can identify, right? I can say that sigma Fx is equal to 0. When I say sigma Fx is equal to 0, all the forces should be in x direction. So Px is in x direction. Directly I can write down. This is one inclined force. I have to bring it to x. When I bring it to x, your angle is decreasing. When your angle decreases, you have to put cos. So 250 cos 30. So positive plus 250 cos 30. Right? This is equal to 0. So I will get what is the value of Px. Right? So the other one, Fy, sigma Fy is equal to 0. When I put sigma Fy is equal to 0, Py plus, bring this to vertical, right? 250 sine 30. 250 sine 30 is equal to 0. So you'll get another Py, right? So both will be a negative sign. What is the value of this two? Py is minus 125 Newton. Very good. What is Px? 0.866 into
Sir, minus 216.50.
Okay, 216.50 Newton. Very good. Right? So the negative indicates that your reaction, what I have chosen, is in opposite direction. Yeah, very good. So you can able to see that I have considered the Px as right hand side. Actually, it is not that. So the answer shows negative, which means that your Px is in this direction. This is my real direction of Px. Right? Py is downward direction. Right? So now we got. So what is the tension we identified? So tension T is 250. Px is identified, which is around 217 Newton, and Py is also identified, which is 125 Newton. Right? Now we'll proceed with another one. Right? This is another problem. So you have a 1800 Newton load at Q. So here you have 1800 Newton. Okay, is applied to the pulley C, which can roll the cable ACB. Right? So just look at the diagram. So the arrangement, how the pulley and rope is arranged. You can able to see this rope is free and it is passing through the pulley and is connected to the center point of the other pulley. Whereas this rope, one is connected to B and other is connected to the center point of A. Right? So this is how it is connected. So now they are asking you, determine the tension in cable ACB. What is the tension in this cable ACB? And magnitude of the force P. How much you have to apply, right, to lift your 1800 Newton. Right? Yeah. So which one you will consider this as a free body diagram? How many free body diagram?
AC, sir.
No, how many free body diagrams? So A and C, you are saying two. No, it is only one. One is enough. Because this, you no need to do that. Because directly I can write it out. So even though you can consider that as A as another free body diagram, it is not worth. So I can directly consider only C, right, to locate what is the values, right? Okay, let me consider this 1800 Newton acting downward. Your force TACB. Why I call TACB? Because it is connected to a single rope, right? That's why I call this as TACB. Okay. So the next one, you have another force on this side. So yeah, this is also TACB. This is also TACB. Right? There are two forces here. Okay, that is why it is mentioned here. So 2ACB on this side and TACB on the other side. Right? And then you have another force from the middle, which is P. So why I call it P? Because P is passing over this pulley, right? So if this is P, this is also P. Right? This is P. So all are outward. So whenever you have a tensile force, everything should be outward. Okay. So when you look at the angle, so this is 55 degree. That is given. And this is 25 degree. Right? So what I can do, I can just make a force diagram. So TACB, 25 degree. So these are two parallel forces. Can I add it? So you can easily add these two forces, right? So if I add it, so okay, this is 1800. If you add this, it is P plus TACB, and its angle is 55 degree, right? So what we can do? So now we got your values here, right? We have three forces and three unknowns, right? So what we can do, you can apply Lami's theorem to identify what is the values of this force, right? So applying Lami's theorem, TACB 8800 and PEC. So this is the values of your angle, right? This is 90 plus 125. This is 90 plus 55, right? And remaining angle. So 360 minus the remaining angle. So we will get this, right? So overall, I got this. So now I can write what is my equation, Lami's equation. What is that? So P plus TACB divided by sine of 115 degree is equal to TACB by sine of 145 degree, and 1800 is is equal to 1800 by sine 100 degree. So I'll get something like this, right? Now I can consider this as equation 1, equation 2, equation 3. First equate 1 and 3. I can able to identify TACB. So your TACB will be equal to 1800 divided by sine 100 into sine 145, right? Once you get this value, substitute it here, right? And then you can equate 2 and 3, right? So when you do that, you will get TACB as 1048 Newton and P as 608 Newton, right? Next, we'll go for a spring type of problem, right? Whenever they give a diagram like this with a load, right? So which means that your spring is stretched, right? It is not unstretched, it is already stretched, right? So the value, whatever it is stretched, right? So it means that you have to identify, right, what will be the values accordingly. And only if you remove the load, it will be unstretched, right? So that you have to keep in mind. Whatever the diagram they give, just look up to the diagram. If there is a force, it means the spring is stretched. Okay, right. Let us consider this problem. You have an unstretched length of spring AB, which is 3 meter. They are given. So unstretched length is 3 meter, right? So which means I can write as unstretched is equal to 3, right? So the block is in equilibrium position. Determine the mass. They are asking what is the weight, right? So and also tension in spring AC. They are concentrating only on A and C. So where is A and C? So only this. They are asking you to identify, right? What is the tension in AC? They are given what is the spring AB, which is 3 meter. The unstretched length is 3 meter. In that case, I have to concentrate first on AB, right? Then only I can proceed with the other forces, right? So let me identify what is the stretched length of the spring AB. In that case, my horizontal distance is 4 meter, vertical distance is 3 meter. So I can identify. So stretched length, right? Stretched length will be nothing but root of 3 square plus 4 square. So we'll get 5. Okay. Now we know that tension AB is equal to your stiffness into your del, where del is stretched length minus unstretched length. Okay. You know unstretched length is given, which is 3. So stretched length is 5. So I can identify what is my del. So del is 3. Sorry, del is 2 meter. Now we can identify what is TAB. So TAB will be equal to 30 into 2, right? Where 30 is the stiffness for this spring. Okay, we identified what is your TAB. Once you got that, you draw a free body diagram, right, at A. So let us consider the free body diagram at A. When I consider A, you have TAB and weight W and TAC, right? So you can identify the angles. So you can identify this angle, which is 3 by 4, right? And the other angle is 3 by 3. Okay. So one will be 45 degree. So you can identify tan inverse of 3 by 3, and other one is tan inverse of 3 by 4. We're getting 36.87 degree. So now after that, you go for force diagram. So you know what is the values. So 36.87 W and TAC, which is 45 degree. So according to Lamy's theorem, we have to identify the angles of all these things, the entire term. So in that case, you will get something like this, right? Now I can equate it, right? So 60 by sine 135 is equal to TAC by sine 126 is equal to W by sine 90, right? So equating all these things, you will get TAC. So when I equate this two, so I'll get TAC as 60 divided by sine 135 into sine 126.87, right? You'll get what is the value of TAC. Similarly, I can also equate the other two, right? Other two. So W will be equal to 60 by sine 135 into sine 98.13. You will get W, which is 84 Newton. But what is the question? The question? What they have to identify?
Mass of the bodies.
Yeah, mass. What is the unit for mass?
Kilogram.
The unit is kilogram. Very good. So your unit is kilogram, right? Which means I have to convert this to mass, right? I have to convert this to mass, right? How to get that mass?
So divided by 9.8.
Yeah, very good. So you have to divide it by 9.81, right? Actually, this is force. Newton is force. You know that force is equal to mass into acceleration, right? So mass is equal to force by acceleration. So this weight, whenever I call weight, it is also a force in Newton. Okay. So you divide it. So divide this, you will get what is the value of your mass, right? So you have to read the question properly. Make sure that you answer it accordingly, right? Yeah. Any clarification in this? What is the value?
8.6, sir.
Yeah, very good. Thank you. 8.6 kg.